Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Joe and Josh Talk The Walking Dead. I'm Joe,
I'm Josh.
and of course, we are going to talk about the latest episode of The Walking Dead and what an episode that was. Seen Eugene take center stage. All spotlight was on him, and we really got to see his character kind of transform a little bit.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was kind of like watching a bunch of the old Bill Nye the Science Guy segments. But Bill Nye, he has a mullet and he's being pulled over to the dark side. Um, the episode was interesting for a number of reasons because we've seen Daryl and Carl both at the sanctuary,
hmm
but Daryl was never going to assimilate, and this was the first time that somebody was being brought in. We're thinking, okay, if they do try to convert this person, will they be able to do so? And we see Eugene is being treated really well because obviously Negan sees value in him. Eugene
Right,
actually ends up impressing Negan with his intellect, and he's being told by people there, "You're one of us now."
right.
And it's an interesting dynamic because he's the kind of character who has done things in the past, questionable things, misled people, and he took advantage of people in order to survive. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on this whole thing with Eugene? Do you think he's really on the dark side, or do you think he's just there to gather information about the Human Genome Project?
Eugene, he's a smart cookie, man. Just because of this, I think he's playing Negan, for a fool, to be honest with you. Because Negan, the only reason why, he chose Eugene, not only because he's smart, but also the fact that Negan senses that he can be easily intimidated.
Right.
And so he loves that. He loves intimidating people and he loves having that power over somebody. And if he can convert Eugene with that, which is apparently was being shown in this episode, but I think Eugene is using that to his advantage because, like you brought up, with the project that he deceived Rick and the group, and he's doing the same thing to Negan. So I think that there's more to this. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Right. And it's interesting because he at first he's making friends with people, and then he actually gets asked by Negan's wives to help them kill Negan, and he ends up turning it down. And I think maybe a part of him thought this is some sort of test.
Right.
These people clearly have this very tight knit culture that's held together by fear and intimidation, and especially because this is kind of later in the episode, but right after he says no, Negan's knocking on his door, and it's like, man, if that was a test and he would have failed,
Yeah,
that could have been really
horribly.
bad.
Yeah, right. And he also at that point in time during the episode when he did tell them no, um, he just sensed that that wasn't a good time to do it. Like we were talking about, he's just like, I'm gonna play this smart, and which he did. Eugene is playing it right. A lot of people think that he's turned, but I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's waiting for the moment, and I think he's smart, and not only in the sense that he can create things and be an asset in that way, but he's very calculating. He's good at planning and things of that nature. So I think more stuff is coming with this Eugene storyline, and he likes pickles and Easy Street. Easy
Yeah,
Street's back.
Easy Street's back. Yeah, Pickles. Who knew, man?
Yeah, we
Pickles.
were, we were talking about that. If Eugene ever does get to leave the sanctuary and he reunites with Daryl, one day they're just going to be chilling and Eugene's going to start just humming the melody to Easy Street. Daryl's just going to freak out, start going into convulsions.
And like grab his crossbow. Just like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's going to get bad. Rest in peace, Eugene, if that ever happens. But speaking of Daryl,
yeah,
he escaped the sanctuary, and we saw that a few episodes back. Well, this episode was cool because it caught us up on what had been going on in the meantime on the other end,
right.
and they even make reference to the visit Simon had made in a previous episode, and he's saying, "Oh, have Simon go good cop at first, and let's see what we can do about this." But Dwight ends up catching a beatdown. He gets a night in the hole, as Negan called it, because Daryl escaped, and also we find out that Sherry left too. And this whole situation with Negan and Dwight and Sherry, man, has just been the tension has been building so much over the season. This is one of
It
the
has.
best secondary stories in the show right now, and we really get a kind of a heartbreaking part in this story when Dwight is told to go look for Sherry, and he goes to their old house, and he finds a note. I'll let you take it from here, man, because that's some heavy stuff.
It's some heavy stuff. Don't get teary eyed on
Man,
that.
it's so brutal.
It is, and pretty much what it's just talking about is, Dwight. He shows up at the house, which is apparently Sherry and his home. And he she was telling him, well, if we ever did decide to, break free from the saviors and stuff, we come back here and meet up, and you would bring beer and pretzels, but you probably wouldn't remember that. And then she's just going on like the past, and how she felt that she changed White, and she felt that uh, pretty much she just felt that she couldn't do it anymore, so she left. She left, and later on, after the note reading and stuff, he actually did remember, which I thought was a kind of a, a bitter, kind of like a bittersweet thing. It's like, oh man, he remembered and blah blah. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, he goes back. Because Sherry was his rock. I mean, be honest with you, that's his wife. He was just doing what he thought was right. But I think now, after losing Sherry, Dwight is at the end of his rope. I think that he's going to get back at Negan for making Sherry leave. Um,
Yeah, it's a really really well written arc there between those two because it's it's very allegorical to a lot of things that happen in real relationships where people they have to do certain things to survive and to live and to sustain themselves, but in a lot of ways it kind of turns them into different people. And after a while they don't know each other. And it was really heavy in that note because Sherry said that the reason she originally wanted to go back, and we did find out that she was the one who let Daryl out, but when she originally wanted to go back to the sanctuary when they first met Daryl,
mhm.
um, before Dwight got burned and everything, when she originally wanted to go back, she had said that being at the sanctuary, well, at least it's better than being dead. Now she's saying no, it's worse. So
Right.
really heavy stuff there. And Dwight, the only reason he's been putting up with what he's been putting up with is to try to sustain that life for the two of them. And now she's gone. So I agree with you. He's another one who his loyalty is definitely questionable now, and um, I could easily see something occurring between Dwight and Eugene down the road because they both kind of seem to be on the same page. Even though the last time they really crossed paths and had any type of extended interaction was when Eugene bit Dwight on the pickle. So you know that's going to make for some interesting conversations. But we
Yeah.
did get a classic, shocking, gruesome death of a secondary slash minor character, which was amazing, man. I really didn't see that one coming.
No, man. Dr. Carson, poor guy, man. Yeah. I mean, well, we thought that he was going to get the iron. You
Yeah,
know, then all of a sudden Negan pulls back, and then we discussed this. We thought that he was going to like either just pistol whip him with the iron or
yeah,
something, or grab Lucille and hit
right.
him. But nah, man, Negan's like, no, let's step it up a notch. I'm gonna throw your tail in the furnace.
It was
So,
brutal.
totally didn't see that coming.
And Dwight framed him. Dwight was the cause of that because he
Right.
framed Dr. Carson for for the crime of helping Daryl escape, and he actually tells Negan that Sherry died and everything. So he is now officially lying to Negan.
Yep.
He has officially, I guess, crossed the line in that way,
Right.
at least. So his loyalty now is it's definitely questionable. If before we could see the tension building and say, well, maybe someday something's going to happen there. In this
Hmm.
case, I think it's not a matter of if, but when. And I think when he does, it's probably going to play a big role in swaying the battle, between these saviors and whoever else wants to fight them.
Right. Right. Exactly. And here's an interesting thought. I just now thought of it. Um, you know, do you think possibly, like maybe later on, Dwight and Sherry meet up again?
That would be really interesting because a lot of people were saying, because I said her character died, a lot of people were saying, well, is she going to come back into the show? I think that I think it would be honestly a bad move not to have her come back
Right.
because there's still so much story left to tell, man. And especially, you throw Daryl in the mix.
Oh yeah,
and I definitely think that we're going to see her again.
yeah. Might be after they fight the saviors. Who knows, man?
Yeah,
Just a lot of interesting stuff going on. We'll catch the unfold of it all with Dwight, Eugene, and with the Savior's compound later on. See what's going on, and pretty much, you got anything else to add, man?
I mean, I think that's going to do it for me. It was a great episode. Dr. Carson, you're fired.
You're fired. Well, you're burnt. Um, yeah, he's gone. That's for sure. But anyways, thank you all for thank you all for tuning in, listening to me and Josh. We love doing this for y'all, and we want to also tell you guys we keep on meaning to do this, and I finally remembered to do this. Um, check us out on YouTube. We also have Facebook and Twitter. You know, all at Joe and Josh Talk. We're on them social media sites, and well, of course, we're going to be on Facebook. I don't even know why I said that, but anyways, um, yeah, check us out on there. We appreciate all your support, and leave us some feedback. Let us know what you guys think, your predictions, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Catch you next time.